let me just describe what I think are the three biggest forces that are going to drive change in the utility industry going forward. Two of them are not very different than any other industry in terms of its experiences. Number one are obviously changes in technologies. And those technologies will range from energy storage systems to energy supply systems to information systems that help manage energy better to large-scale power plants. When I say large-scale power plants, I include in that small modular nuclear reactors, so a little bit of a juxtaposition between large and small there. So technology changes will be driver number one. Driver number two will be increased demands for environmental controls. And I think that if you just look back since 1970 and the creation of the EPA and the National Environmental Policy Act, what you see is a continuous trend towards cleaner water, cleaner air, and of course, the preeminent environmental issue of our time nowadays, that being climate change. Depending upon economic cycles, those forces ebb and flow in terms of the veracity, but the trend and the arrow is always pointing in one direction. The third driver that is unique to our industry, I believe, is this very strange phenomenon whereby there's an ever-increasing demand for reliability in electric service, while there is a flattening, if not a decline, in the consumption of electricity. And if you think about just about any product or service that you use, when you become more dependent upon it, it tends to be because you're using more of it. You become more dependent upon your automobile because your new job takes you off of mass transit and you need to drive to work. You become more dependent upon, a particular device in the home because you're using it more often, be that your computer or your television set. But in electricity, even as we are becoming much more dependent upon it, we are not increasing our use of it. In fact, in some respects, we're using less of it. Now, how does that come about? It's pretty simple. Even if you are the worst consumer on the planet, when you go ahead and replace your refrigerator or your air conditioning system or your lighting system in your business or your home, the 15-year period that has elapsed since you last did that results in you purchasing a new piece of equipment that is far, far more energy efficient than the one you're replacing. And that's true, as I said, even if you're the worst consumer on the planet. Now, those devices, whether it's your lighting system, your air conditioning system, your refrigeration system, as I said, are the largest energy-consuming devices in your home. So how are you becoming more dependent upon electricity? Well, you now have your tablets, your electric phones, your electric toothbrush, your larger screen television, your home energy management system, your remote-controlled. I saw an ad yesterday for a doorbell that if you ring, sends a video display to wherever you are in the world to let you electronically answer the door as if you were in the house. So everything we do is becoming much more electrically connected. So this wasn't working all that time?
That's for your Q&A.
Okay. So this was never more apparent to me, at least, than it was at the end of 2012, in the period of October 28th to about November 10th. For those of you who don't remember, that was when the East Coast was hit by Superstorm Sandy. And the range of reactions we experienced to people who were without their electricity for sometimes brief periods, sometimes for lengthy periods, really ran the gamut. I can remember on October 29th, the day after the storm had hit, I and several other utility CEOs who were most affected were on the phone with President Obama. He won't remember that conversation, but I remember. It's not that often that one gets to speak to the President of the United States. And his primary concern was whether or not we would be able to reopen Newark Airport and the refineries in New Jersey that clearly were an essential part of providing refined oil products and gasoline to Northeastern consumers. Also some concern for security reasons. Obviously, just the absence of light and the absence of electricity does sometimes bring out some mischief in a small but nonetheless important segment of society. For the next week to 10 days, I was on the phone every day with a group of CEOs and the Secretary of Energy, and my colleague who runs our utility. I'm just going to collect microphones up here. So my colleague was on the phone with the governor of New Jersey every day to understand what was going on. And I'll never forget one day sitting in our storm response center, and my colleague Ralph LaRosa, who's the president of PSEG, received a phone call from a surgeon who was at a Newark area hospital. I put those microphones too close to each other, excuse me. And the surgeon said that I have 2 open heart surgeries scheduled for today, and I'm still on backup power. This was about day 2 of the storm event. And I want to know if I should cancel these surgeries. Are you finally going to get us back? So, of course, hospitals were prioritized, and we did bring that hospital back, and the surgeries went on.
But we've heard you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marsh. So, so we did restore power, and sadly, the surgeon never called us back to tell us how the surgeries went. But nonetheless, so the President of the United States, the Governor of New Jersey, the Secretary of Energy, heart surgery. But I think the crowning point was about a week into the storm. I don't remember the exact date. I received an email from a customer saying that if you don't restore my electricity today, my teenager is coming to live with you. And to that individual, the crisis was no less real than any of the aforementioned people. And we see this in varying degrees, whether it's a momentary outage that annoys people because of the fact that they don't have battery backups and they're flickering lights, or they are just unable to function, either because their business is unable to function or because of the incredible dependency we've created for ourselves on various devices. So what that leads to is a level of reliability that we now call resiliency. So reliability to me is something that you worry about on a blue sky day. So the fact that it's a nice day outside today, there's a little bit of a breeze, won't keep somebody from driving their car into a utility pole and knocking down a wire, sadly. And the fact that we're going to get some snow tomorrow, Kate tells me 8 inches in the Northeast, I hope she's wrong, will result in some of our weaker circuits falling down. And those blue sky events, yes, blue sky literally and blue sky figuratively, 8 inches of snow is not a catastrophic event normally in the Northeast, are things that we've prepared our system for. But superstorms and hurricanes are not things that our system is prepared for, and extended outages is not something our society is prepared for. So that level of reliability we refer to as resiliency. And the need to bring that about involves massive investments in the infrastructure. Massive investments in the infrastructure need to be recovered from customers. So that means that the amount of money that customers pay us will need to go up. Now, how does that happen when the amount of product that customers are using is flat to going down? If you just do a simple division, if the numerator is what you get paid and the denominator is what gets used, that suggests that prices will skyrocket. Now, how do prices skyrocket in a regulatory environment where people basically don't see the value of the product until it isn't there? I mean, no one, to my knowledge, not even yours truly, wakes up in the morning and says, I can't wait to use more electricity. We might wake up and say, I can't wait to watch that March Madness basketball game, which requires the use of electricity. I can't wait to host my friends for dinner tonight, which requires the use of either electricity to ignite the oven or maybe electricity to run the oven. So we have this situation where the demands on the system are increasing from the point of view of the quality of what's delivered, but not on the quantity of what's delivered. And I think a linchpin in bringing that about is going to be a fundamental shift in the way in which utilities are regulated. We've been able to make investments in our infrastructure the past few years because of the benefits we've realized from the decline in fuel costs. So decline in natural gas prices has resulted in a decline in the cost to produce electricity, which has allowed many companies, including ours, to increase the cost of delivering that electricity. And your bill, when you get it at home, has 2 components to it: the production of electricity and the delivery of electricity. So we're charging more for the delivery because we're charging less for the production. And the net effect for a PSEG customer, now I'm going to do a little bit of a sleight of hand here because we do sell both gas and electricity to our customers, has been a 23% decline in the overall bill, even while we've invested over $10 billion in the infrastructure. I'm not sure natural gas prices have much further to go down. Now, there are some arguments that they will continue to decline, but we won't see the kind of decline we've seen from $10 natural gas prices to $2 natural gas prices, because it can't go from $2 to negative $8. So the question then becomes, how do we deliver on customer desires in the absence of demand growth? And I think the key to that will be energy efficiency.